Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I and James will be checking out a little bit more of the wonderful music of this country that we are in. And today we're going to be listening to, crap, I forgot to remember his name, let's read it. Nakata Yasutaka. Nakata Yasutaka. Anyway, you guys will know him as the guy he's from Capsules, and he's the producer of both Perfume and Kyari Pami Pami. And after checking out some of the music of all of those artists, basically, we got some comments saying, why don't you check out his own solo stuff? And I was given this link. It's taken me a long time to get here, but I'm finally listening to it. The first frame of the video immediately is like a sort of line cartoon drawing of someone holding what appears to be a memory card and a Game Boy.
So it's got Piri Piri Tokyo.
Yeah, the name of the song is Piri Piri Tokyo. Actually, is that? No, it's Piko Piko. Piko Piko Tokyo.
Oh, cool.
So, we're going to be jumping straight in with this one. And
I believe Piko Piko is the sound that video games make.
Like
pew pew, pee pee pee, Piko Piko.
That's a little bit interesting information.
Yes, Piko Piko is the sound that video games make.
And just before we jump in, there's actually one thing I will say. I love their onomatopoeia here, don't they?
Yes, so it's basically their version of bleep bloop.
One thing I will say about this is that every time I've heard his stuff, I really enjoy the music of Perfume and Kyari Pami Pami, and I know that sometimes it can get a bit samey, which is my only objection, but he has a sort of style, but he does really use it. He gets lots of different things out of his style, so if you like his music or you don't, but I do think he's really interesting in what he does, so I can't wait to check this one out anyway. So as I say, this is Nakata Yasutaka. I think I'm getting that right. Flash animation is back.
That shouldn't have worked. He's putting a DS game into a Game Boy.
That was just for copyright reasons, I suspect.
Very simple lyrics.
Are we going a bit Tron here, are we? It's like you know who the producer is when you hear this.
Yeah.
Catchy as hell. He's got his Tesla-powered Game Boy. Who's fighting there?
Oh. Okay.
It's so hard to comment on this when you're just like waiting to see what craziness is going to happen next. But I would say that, I mean, obviously it sounds totally like his sort of stuff, but it's a really good example of how catchy his music can be. It's 2001: A Space Odyssey, but instead of a baby, it's a Testarossa.
And then it just fizzles out.
So the very arcade itself was a game. It's like the inception of video games. It's a game within a game within a game within a game.
It never stops loading.
Alright, well this one this one is a bit interesting because the question it leaves me with is, well, I mean, basically, do I enjoy that song? Yeah, I think that's a really good, catchy song. Is it distinctly different enough from anything he does for any of his other artists to really deserve it being a separate project? No.
Why didn't he just give that song to one of his artists?
I'd be surprised if none of them would take it because of the fact that that's right down the alley of what he usually sells. And so yeah, on the basis that it is one of his songs, yeah, great.
Yeah,
but
maybe just put it like a passion project. Maybe he knew it wasn't good enough for one of his artists to carry it.
Maybe there is a reason why it wasn't taken. Yeah, maybe he just feels particularly close to the lyrics. Maybe he's just sort of a gamer at heart, and therefore he feels particularly close to it. I don't know who was actually singing this. Now,
it did have a featuring.
It did, yeah.
But I think that was more like a synth programmer. Like,
well, I think he programs all this stuff. Anyway, before we get into too many semantics about what we might or might be wrong about, because that's what we have the comments for, as always, to say, we do this from a fairly blank opinion, then let you guys in the comments tell us more so you can give us a bit more information and maybe guide what we say in future reviews if we come back to the artist or any of your other work. But this one, I think the main thing is when I was hearing his own solo stuff, I kind of expected to hear what he did, but in a way I was kind of thinking if you do your own solo thing away from what you sell to your usual artists who you work with, you're probably going to want to really sort of stamp home your own identity, do those little experimental things that you wouldn't dare do with anyone else, and it didn't feel like that's what was happening.
No,
here.
It wasn't exactly Rude Box, was it?
Wow, I did not see that reference.
When you think about someone going off and doing their own thing and not caring what anyone thinks, whether it's a success or even if it sounds good or not, you have to bring up Rude Box.
Robbie Williams' Rude Box. That album deserves a full listen through because that's a good album.
Because that is just him doing what he wants and not caring about it, and he just like, I don't care what you think music is. This is what I think music is, and this is what I'm going to do.
For this little Robbie Williams detour, I must admit that is, if you listen to it, cover to cover, it's actually a very good album in a sort of a weird, crazy passion project way. I mean, I know it was fueled by drugs, but sometimes the greatest works are. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, that was a really interesting album. That's kind of, I think you've got a good point there. I mean, even though he was only sort of assistant writes his own songs at best, the truth is that was an example of someone going, well, I want to do my own thing. And so when you hear an artist like this who is so prolific in his own group and with internationally famous artists who he writes for, when he's doing his own thing that admittedly he must know it's not going to sell as much because he's known as the producer guy, not as a solo artist in his own right, you'd think that would give him like carte blanche to do exactly what we're talking about, a Robbie Williams Rude Box moment. But instead we've got something here which is perfectly functional by his sound. This is really good. This is actually really catchy. It's kind of going around in my head right now, whereas some of the songs he does with Perfume, sometimes they're not quite as catchy as, sometimes they're ultra catchy, but this one, yeah, it's a really good song of his. I kind of want to hear him give it to one of his artists, or maybe maybe the featurette singer is just someone who he really wants to work with, who hasn't got enough of a name of their own, and so he just wrote this one, put it under his title for that. So I think there's more. I mean, musically, the question we have more about this one, I think, is more of a why. Why is this what it is? But if we're just talking about it in a fair and completely objective perspective as a piece of music, yeah, it's what you'd expect from him. It doesn't bring any surprises to the table, but it's a pleasant surprise in just how catchy it is and just how he keeps on being able to, within his own wheelhouse of sounds, keeps on being able to produce songs that have like enough character to be standalone, sort of be catchy on their own rather than a sort of a mass body of copy-paste songs. So yeah, I personally, I would be happy to hear that again. Probably will check that out a couple more times over the next few days just to enjoy the catchy little sound. I love the funny little ways that he's thrown in the video game sounds. I know that's been done before, but he did a great job of that.
I think that could have been a much bigger song because the title is good. It's got an onomatopoeia and people are interested in Tokyo, of it having higher tourism every year than the previous one, record numbers. That could have been a big hit. That could have been a massive hit because
he doesn't need hits.
Well, no, exactly.
Hits coming out of his ears.
Because Chiari's hits were massive. You had him playing in restaurants and stuff until they got too expensive for the restaurants to afford, and then they stopped playing it. But yeah, huge songs, and that one could be very marketable. The video was weird though. The video is entirely a separate product to the song. You can tell they came at completely different points.
It did look like a fan video.
They didn't come as a package. Say for instance, if you go to, say for instance, Kanye West, he envisions his videos with his music. Clearly, they are a bit. I mean, he had Takeshi Murakami come in and do a lot of artwork for one of his albums, and I think he had that in mind the whole time. He does visualize everything he does, whereas this one, it looked like it came as a massive afterthought. They just said, "Here's a song. Can you do a video for it, please?" And it looked like an Adult Swim cartoon. It looked like an American cartoon that has no idea what Japanese culture is like, and they just sort of threw it all together.
Just want to point out this channel in no way condones anything that Kanye West does.
We are not affiliated in any way.
Not affiliated in any way.
Do not condone the actions of Mr.
Kanye
West Kardashian himself.
Well, let me just say therefore that on this one, yeah, good song. Like I say, not going to change the world, but definitely one that is going to stick in my head. And if I want to hear his type of music, which his music's almost a genre of its own, it's got a real feel to it, then this would be one of the go-to songs that I'd really be looking forward to hearing again. It is really, really good, catchy song, and it sort of exemplifies what he does. However, in no way did it come across at all unexpected, and I feel that in that way it was perhaps a wasted opportunity. I know he can do ultra catchy songs, and he'll keep on doing them for years, I'm sure. But in this particular context, I just wanted to hear him maybe do something a bit different. But as I say, I suspect maybe that featurette singer is someone he knows. You guys tell us in the comments, and he's written this for her, and therefore it was just sort of a good way of channeling that out. Anyway, for now, as usual, thank you so much for tuning in. Yes. We've got millions of videos you can check out, so go through them. If you just search on it, you go onto our YouTube channel page and you search, you'll probably find whatever artist you're interested in. We've probably covered them before. We've got loads of new stuff coming soon as well. Yeah, if we didn't get blocked. We've got loads of new stuff coming as well, extra features and things. We've got all in the description. You can see all of our different social media pages so you can keep up with what we're doing, and you can support us, and most important, you can get involved in the conversation. We love the conversations in the comments here, but a lot of it goes across onto our Reddit and our Discord, and you can keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter. And if you really want to support us, because we don't make any money through the YouTube, that is, we have got our Patreon as well, where we give you fun little things as rewards. Yay! So for now, from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in, like I say, and hopefully you'll be checking out more of our videos right after this one. But either way, have a lovely day. Ciao, ciao.